this video, we're going to look at the contact details screen. Just dive into this a little bit so that we can make a bit more sense of what we're looking at here. So up here we've got the contact details. At a quick glance we can see their name, whether they're a vendor, a buyer, a landlord or a tenant, their mobile number, their email address and their correspondence address here. If I want to edit any of this information, I can't do it up here. There's nothing for me to click on. I would go into the about section of the person, into the contact information, and I can change it all here, where I can change them to being a vendor and a buyer, or I can change their correspondence address or any of the other information in the about section, and then I can save the changes here and they'll take effect up in this section. Next we've got score and touch points. So think of this as sessions and activity, with touch points being sessions and score being activity. So you get score points for doing individual things like clicking on a website or opening an email or filling out a form, and touch points you get for each individual session that takes place. So if someone clicks on your website and they click around on 15 different pages in one go, that will still just count as one session. However, once a reasonable amount of time has elapsed without them doing anything, if they then go back and look at your market appraisal or your website or look at an email or something like that, then it would count as another touch point. So you can see how many times, how many kind of sessions they've had with your company, and over here how active they've been. Underneath you've got the call, SMS or email button. Call obviously work from a mobile. If you've got your desktop connected up to your phone system, then it would work from there as well. SMS, you can click and send the person an SMS straight from the system, or email, you can click and send the person an email straight from the system. You can also click the little schedule button down here and schedule when you want that email to go if you don't want to reply immediately or send them an email immediately. Over here we've got the start date, the last seen date and the last contacted date. So start date would be when the person actually got entered into the system. The last seen date would be when they last did something, so when Lifecycle last saw them active somewhere. And the last contacted date would be when you last did something, when you last sent them an email or left a note that you'd called them by phone or something like that. Over here you've got sticky notes. So what's the difference between a sticky note and just a normal note that you would enter into the system? The sticky note will always be here for people to see when they land on that contact. So if there's something important that you want everybody to know about this person, you can enter it in here as a sticky note and save it up the top. Related user and branch is quite obvious. Down here you can enter notes, so if you spoke to the person by phone, or if they've just visited the branch, or if it's just an internal note. Try to make sure you choose the right one when you're leaving notes so that people know exactly what happened. You can enter when that actually happened by changing the date and the time over here, and then just click add note and it will get added to the timeline so that you can see it in the bottom half of the screen. This one here, called by phone, if I click on that, it will bring me up the actual note that the person left so that I can read it. If I click on something like this, visited market appraisal or visited website or any sort of link like that, it will show me when it happened and what the link was that the person had been clicking. So that's kind of covered the timeline where we can see everything that we've done and everything that they've done. Next one along is related market appraisals, where we can obviously see any market appraisals that we've done that relate to this person. You can click through to get straight to it. In the about section is where you've got the contact details of the person. So let's imagine that this person calls us up and says, I still own Turtle Farm, I just don't live there anymore. Then in here we could update their correspondence address to a new one. So if I put in a new postcode and say they've now moved to Fern Cottage and then save that information, it's been updated. At the top here his contact details are updated, his correspondence address, but he still has this related market appraisal that we did for him at Turtle Farm. Okay, so about is the actual correspondence address and the contact details. Next one along would be files, whereby you could add a JPEG or a PDF or something that you want to store against this person for whatever reason that might be. That pretty much sums up the contact screen. Not as complicated as perhaps it first looks when you get into it. Score and touch points, just to recap, gives you an idea of their activity. The next one across shows us when they were last active and when we last contacted them. Everything else, reasonably straightforward.